Hey, this is Tim with the University of Vinyl. Hope everyone's having a great day. Today, for video number 3, moving right along, I wanted to talk about kind of a cool sleeper audiophile pressing or pressing technique that was around from about 1981 to the early 90s. And what I'm talking about, a lot of you are probably aware of it. It's known as Quiex Vinyl. Now, Quiex Vinyl is more of a pure form of vinyl with better properties in the vinyl, also known as virgin vinyl. This may ring a bell. More recently, Classic Records actually utilized Quiex Vinyl in a lot of their releases. I've got an example right here real quick. Right off the bat, I'll show you. This is a Classic Records pressing of Who Are You? We can talk about whether this was one of the stronger Who albums in another video. But then you'll actually see right there, they actually have a hype sticker, the Quiex, I think they're referring it to as handmade super vinyl profile. But in the 1980s, there were many different record labels that started using Quiex Vinyl. Primarily in the early days, they used them for promo pressings, initial releases, promos, went out to radio stations, to DJs, et cetera, et cetera. And the interesting thing about this, you may actually have a lot of these in your collection. If you don't know, you may not have actual hype stickers anymore on these albums. The shrink is gone, etc. But they actually did include hype stickers in a lot of cases during the 80s and into the early 90s, like I mentioned. And it would say, limited edition pressing, audiophile pressing, Quiex or Quiex 2. And let's start with a few. This is actually R.E.M's first EP, Chronic Town, and this came out in 1982. This is the first recorded stuff that we have from this fantastic band, one of my favorites. But if you look at the vinyl, of course, I don't have the original shrink on this anymore. Just looks like a typical black vinyl record, right? The cool thing with the early Quiex is they actually utilized a dye in these records, okay, in the actual compound. And any Quiex record is actually translucent. So this is before the trendy record store day releases of translucent records, et cetera, clear records. All of these things look like a typical black vinyl record, but if you hold them up to the light, you'll actually see that it's typically a murky brown or a purplish color, and they're translucent. So something to check out in your collection. I'm just going to go through a few that in mine that I've located and found. Here's R.E.M's second album, Reckoning. Great record. Also on IRS. Again, nothing, no one would know the wiser. It's a black record as far as we know, right? Regular vinyl pressings have a lot of carbon compound in them, and carbon can be kind of a dirty compound, and it can cause issues as far as surface noise, etc. Maybe not the greatest sounding pressing, that can happen. And the Quiex was a super hard vinyl as far as the compound was concerned. And yeah, they did use a dye where you could see the translucence. Another label, this is John Hyatt, Bring the Family, 1987. Huge comeback album for him. One of my favorites. And this was on R.E.M, I believe. Yep. So, looks like a black record, right? A couple others I'll show you. Another great album, John Hiatt, Stolen Moments. I've got about everything that John Hiatt has put out. I love him. He's one of the last concerts I saw before the shutdown. R.E.M as well. One thing that you'll notice if you uncover some of these Quiex pressings, they were typically initially reserved for your premier artists, okay? So R.E.M, John Hiatt, of course the legendary Ricky Lee Jones. This is Magazine. This came out in 1984. Not my favorite. I actually prefer her debut. But this was actually on Warner Brothers. And looks like a typical record to me, right? So what I did off camera, I'm going to include a little slideshow at the end of this video, and you'll be able to check out all of these records that I just showed you. And kind of a cool thing. Some people might think this is an arcane subject, but hey, we're record collectors, right? Anyway, so this was all about Quiex or Quiex 2 vinyl. Thank you for watching today, and I'm going to be doing more of these. If you would like to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Have a great day. Thanks.